You watching DaveBeyondTV, where we live and direct talking about well, you already know, where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. First off the bat, shout out to all the Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendants. You know what I'm saying? Happy star day to y'all. We are officially in y'all season. You know what I'm saying? Good run in Cancer. A lot of shit going on in the sky, and I don't have a whole lot of times. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna jump right into it for the most part. But yeah, first of all, happy, you know what I'm saying? So the vibe we already know is shifting, right? It's a lot of shit going on. It's a lot of shit going on. I titled this "Face Validation" because, see, this is the point in which everyone, again, whole Cancer season, in those live streams, I was talking about how we all had to make a decision. Right now is the actual fruition of that decision. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is you stepping into that actual figure, that face, that character, whatever it is that you was designing, inner workings of back in Cancer season. You know what I'm saying? We had to develop what all those sensitivities that we had, all those insecurities that we were still dealing with. At this point in time, the vibe switches. In Leo season, it's time to now be the. So you needed to get all those jitters out of your system during Cancer season. You had to kind of face all those different things that was making you emotionally unstable, emotionally insecure. You had to address those things so that now how you present can be in a much more favorable way. You know what I'm saying? You won't be presenting yourself expecting things that's coming from a deep, dark place that you haven't quite took the time to sort out whether or not that was a valid expression of yourself, or was that something based in fear. Biggest question right now, what parts of yourself was based in fear, and which ones are actually you? And are you going to be brave enough to show up for yourself when the time comes? And the time is now. Shout out to free yourself, you know what I'm saying? So it's right there. So for the most part, when we talk about this energy, right, going in, like I said before, you either are going to speed up with the times because everything's moving faster now. Mars is 1 degree Gemini. We in Leo season. Mercury's finna go retrograde. So again, now you have to really make up again, double down on that decision you made during Cancer season. But the question is, are you going to step up and embody that, or are you behind and kind of walk away with an invalid face card? You know what I'm saying? This is like face card season, where it's like all that shit you was talking during the spring, we watched you was planting seeds, hopefully, and then now we in the summertime. But the Cancer season, that's that private internal energy where you were supposed to handle all those things that were still having you on the fence. And now that Mars, like I said before, Mars now is in Gemini, we switching the pace. You know what I'm saying? What was once just us needing to be paid, kind of honing in on our own private energy, is now it's time to speak up, communicate, not just communicate any and everything, but to look to expand. Is everything that you're passionate about, now it's about expanding that. But the validity of it is going to be a challenge, basically. Like I said, with Jupiter being in Gemini in general, everybody has to be willing for things to be up for debate and be able to stand behind what it is they say. Shout out to V, you know what I'm saying, the Hanged Empress up in here. You know, what's up? So that's the whole thing. It's like we have to that face card shit. It's like you're gonna start to see a lot of people shift into a vibe of just doing any and everything. Hey, Jackie New, the whole crew up in here, okay? Shout out to Jackie New. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a choice, you know, not a choice. It's that moment where, like I said before, your face card is now being shown. It's like, okay, a lot of people are gonna be doing things in the clout, but it's gonna be very apparent now. Everybody who's been doing things based on not their genuine decision to do those things, not their genuine character expressing these things, people doing things for the look are going to be exposed. People doing things just for the validation that they want, you're going to start to see them slow up on certain things. And again, the pace at the moment is so fast and rapid that you're either going to play the position and you're going to catch the pockets to jump in, or again, sideline, or you're going to play too close to trying to embody something that isn't truly you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Equilibria. I like that name. Oh shit, okay, we got people all over the world. All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? What up? Most part, you know, so you're gonna see a lot of, you know, that's the whole thing, Leo season. A lot of people gonna be just chasing a look. So you have to be aware of where where the disingenuous energy is coming from. Again, like I said, it should be apparent, especially if you've been planting the right seeds. You should be able to see and discern whether or not somebody's trying to connect with you because you're a good look for them versus somebody connecting with you. Because see, the thing is, and this is kind of like all the energy of the full moon that we just experienced, right? Because it was a full moon in Capricorn and Aquarius, and I missed that, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, to recap the energy and what it's led to now, that whole experience, full moon, needing to be satisfied when it comes to our status in forms of connecting and not connecting, but more so networking within that energy. So that was a testament. See, you was either satisfied with who you are and the status you built around people you've been talking to behind closed doors. And you know, again, it goes to show whether or not you've been into real events with these people, if you've been actually collaborating with these people. Those types of things was so necessary the previous energy before, because that was what was developing that trust energy, that a lot of people, that trust and that authentic and genuine energy you get from somebody after y'all spend a certain amount of time together, right? Because one thing you can, the thing about Leo, right? See, Leo in and of itself, I think is one of a very, Leo represents energies of like when it comes to Leo represents energies of, you know, expression. What we see is the ego of things, right? Oh, that's the look of something, and getting, you know what I'm saying, getting giddy off the look, and whether or not, you know, that can go negative. That can become something where it's like, oh, you self-centered, you know, you're trying to be center stage to the point where you're becoming a narcissist and things like that. But see, Leo is done in a healthy way. Leo is also the reciprocity of expression, the reciprocity of attention and things like that. And that actually can be very beneficial and healthy. See, the problem is a lot of people in the world chase that validation. They go to different people trying to get that validation because they're thirsty for it. And then they develop a very narcissistic view of the world because they think that ego that they're trying to uphold is the most important thing. And so that starts to become toxic energy where you disregard the individuality of others. A lot of that comes from places of trauma. A lot of what we experience in Cancer season is the addressing of those emotional, the traumatic things we went through that developed into insecurities, to where now we feel when we go out into the world like we don't want to be vulnerable in these things and not be vulnerable about those same things. So we behave and act in a way that is very, you know, negative, or it's like I was saying before, it's not really you. See the difference between expressing negative energy because that's what's needed at the moment and that's coming from you, and it's what's, you know, again, case by case basis, it's necessary in the moment, or that's coming from a genuine thing that your spirit is expressing, or a gender that you develop for yourself based upon your own unique mentalities. That's different than being negative because you're afraid somebody is being is poking at your insecurity, or being afraid because you feel like somebody's making you insecure, or living in a way or reacting in a way based upon that insecurity, or expressing yourself in a way to hide something that you're not willing to be vulnerable about. Those things start to become negative, and they can't be justified in reality. That's why certain people run away. It's not because, again, they might not really even be nasty and negative at the moment, or even see that what they're doing is negative. But what it is, and low key, everybody kind of know what they doing. But you got, and if you're in that position to be kind of like the more aware spirit, you can look at their behaviors and actions and understand that the distasteful energy you get from them is just simply because what they're expressing is not really true to them. It's something that they're trying to use as a mask or something to hide behind in order to avoid the pain or the discomfort of expressing those vulnerabilities or being seen in a certain way. So get back to what I was saying. Leo done in a healthy way is y'all supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? You that person's leader and they're yours. You know what I'm saying? This is energy that develops more confidence. You're saying when you speak life into your friends and people around you that you care for, that you see expressing themselves, that encouragement, that's good use of Leo energy. With attention to what somebody can do positively, you give credence to somebody's light. And we all need relationships to help. See, it's not about validation, but when you think about relationships and the things that, like, for instance, if you have, right, one of the most powerful marketing tools they'll tell you is word of mouth. Because if somebody I know giving you praise, whether verbally or expressing praise for whatever it is that you do or your product, I'm gonna believe that a lot more, because that has some it's like it represents you occupying a space, because you've somehow convinced the mind of another individual in that similar space to say, hey, no, that is a real light. I see that light too. And so now when you look at that individual, you're able to add on to that in a positive way. And the same thing goes for negative attention. Sometimes you won't even have met a person, but if somebody says they're crazy, and then you start to, what you're going to do is you're going to look at that person, and the first things you start to notice are all the things that what somebody else said as a reference. And not everybody has, like, some people get caught up in that mix, but a lot of people do. A lot of people will just go along with what the status quo is or what the majority say. Same thing where even on social media, somebody will be saying straight bullshit, but because they got a million views on a video, majority of the world would just agree with them, whether it's right or wrong, saying what they say or not. It don't really matter. It's like, it's a good look. They like, oh no, they got a million people this video, or a million people watching this video. It must mean something. That's why the people who run the world, what they use as leverage to basically get anybody kicking some real shit out the picture, and to replace that with a rhetoric or idea that supports what they want you to believe in, aka religion or anything you see on the news channel. Why the news is even you know, portrayed that way. You know what I'm saying? And see, me, I went to school for media communication, so a lot of jobs ended up applying for, and the ones that I did work was involving broadcast and journalism on to some degree. And it's literally all about the narrative. It don't get so deep on those lower levels as to, oh, this is what they trying to do, but you start to understand like how they want you to perform in these jobs. The whole thing is, can you create a narrative out of whatever it is that you're given, which is the events that actually went on. But based upon the channel you on and the brand behind that becomes where they want that narrative to teeter on. And based upon your ability to match that tone, that'll determine if you get that job or not. You know what I'm saying? And that made those kinds of jobs difficult for me, because I'm like, well, that's personal, so I'm not gonna explain that. Shout out to Famous Malo in here. So getting back to this energy, so now that we're in Leo season again, it's all about the face card. It's all about showing up, setting that stage, and doing what you need to do in order to get, express your true self. Because right now we all got to shine. We all have that responsibility. We all have that awareness right now. We all want to do that, but the question of whether you step up to the plate to actually perform is going to be on what you've dealt with as an insecurity, and whether or not you're willing to step into that character without too much fear on your heart, without too much second guessing, without too much of looking what everybody else is doing and feeling some kind of need or desire to kind of fit in and like that. And see, that's where that Aquarius energy steps in and helps us, because think about it. If you really want to see, that kind of goes into even what I was explaining about when we talk about Aquarian energy, the age of Aquarius, and the concept community and what it really is for. See, community, when you have a group of individuals around you who think similarly and who have somewhat of a similar goal as you, right? The support system is really what that energy represents. It's a support system. And like I said, when we go through a transit like this, where Leo energy going on, there's a lot of expression. So not only does it take confidence to get up on that stage, but what helps with that confidence is having people in the crowd see you, right? And that's supposed to encourage you. So if you got people, if you've taken the time to really express yourself, be yourself, and be genuine to other people, and you've gone through the experience of them being genuine to you, for you to be comfortable to take the relationship to new places, then what you've developed or created for yourself is a true support system, right? And remember, that's the whole thing with Saturn energy. And by Saturn, that's the ruling planet of Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? That support, it's a system. That's all the key point of all Saturn energy systems. So when you think of, oh, what's the point of community or a network? Is to be able to that can support the opposite type energy, which is Leo, whatever y'all collective or a group want to put on center stage. So your expression, like I said before, word of mouth and things like that has more it has more weight in reality, because the support system you have around that thing. A lot of people, like, we like to say support comes from Venus energy, but Venus is far more about giving. It's about support in different kinds of ways. Like Venus support does ways garner reality support, if you get what I'm saying. Like, for instance, just because somebody is your favorite artist doesn't make them a good, that's like Venus. But if enough people can collectively say, oh no, this artist is dope, and they have a fan base or a community like that, then that creates a little more you know, like that makes it a lot more real to say, oh, this is a good artist versus other one. Both of them are subjective, but you can see how support works for Saturn differently than it works for Venus. But they're energies that you want to have hand in hand, aka Libra being exalted, I mean Saturn exalted in Libra, and even for, you know, yeah, Saturn being exalted in Libra. And then I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Shout out to Schwetzel, and shout out to, you said, oh man, I forgot the name again. Oh, you said Fast. I forgot how to say it again, bro. You done told me. I done forgot, man. My bad. But shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Fast. And shout out to Radical Tsunami. You know what I'm saying? So he said infinity and beyond. You already know. You already know what it is. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the energies involved in you know, the importance of community right now, and just what that is. You know what I'm saying? My bad. But the importance of community and what that is supposed to be and what that's supposed to represent. And part of why I'm saying it's important, because we, again, going through all that internal shadow work is helping us become better, and by being better individuals, that makes it easier to come together. Because if I can maintain my land, right, we don't need a HOA. If I can maintain my land and know where to keep my boundaries and know how to keep my lawn straight, we don't need no overarching business or corporation around us making sure everything is in order. And what I mean by that is, if you were to take that analogy and place it into a person, right? This is a person who knows how to conduct themselves appropriate manner, aka when you go in your own individual, you know how to deal with your thoughts and feelings, to be overwhelmed, to not be swayed this way, swayed that way. You know how to be responsible and accountable and behave in a way that's respectable. That create unnecessary conflict within your community or people around you, relationship, things like that. You can conduct your relationships in a healthy, responsible way, more so than a person, again, who doesn't do that shadow work. And now every little insecurity with, they push that on to others. They create conflict in ways that aren't actually beneficial. Conflict is very beneficial, but if a person doesn't know how to communicate maturely, if a person doesn't know where to set boundaries, and where their own insecurity playing a role, where they're projected, there's so many different layers that creates more havoc, more harm, more toxic energy than positive energy. You know what I'm saying? That's those are people that get that. You know, again, you could just start to see, like, damn, like, it starts to become a weakest link conversation, where it's like, yo, I don't think you really, I don't think you're to the point mentally where you can handle, you know, being amongst other individuals. You know, I don't know if you can, like, that's a whole different conversation. I don't want to get too deep, but that's a very real thing. Again, you'll find yourself, and that is the energy. That's breaking. You know what I'm saying? Am I breaking up, y'all? Damn. But that represents the where that'll be energy where during full moon you'll start to see and recognize. Again, if you had a full moon that was a lot more catastrophic, or you were unsatisfied during it, then that would be the result. It would be an energy where you start to see, like, damn, I didn't quite build this for myself that's respectable. It's like you won't see those people. You said if you breaking up, rewind 10 seconds. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not, man. You know, they be trying to tweak on my stuff. But for the most part, that's what you'll see. You'll start to see the result of that. You'll start to see, like, that full moon should have showed you whether or not you've been conducting yourself in a respectable way, whether or not what you've been expressing, if it was genuine. You should have individuals around that you can start to build something with, that you can start to communicate with. And that's where Mars steps in. Mars is that communication about what we're passionate about, right? You won't be just expressing yourself or communicating in a way that's hyper aggressive. You won't just be to get your own. So the way, because that's the thing with Mars and Gemini. Mars and Gemini in a positive way, right, is going to look like you having curiosity about what you're, and being willing to communicate to people who are doing things that you want to do. Negative Mars energy or expression of this, or manifestation of Mars and Gemini, would be kind of like a wanting to bait things but you're not actually experiencing what it is that you want to do. You're more so on the sidelines, judging other people and what they're doing and trying to communicate like that. And so the way you'll communicate, and then also it's a form of meeting that's not so much curious because of a shared interest. It's not curiosity. What you're expressing is more so selfishness, right? It's selfishness with the questions that you're asking. So the conversation that you're having is going to be an energy of wanting to take information, but not at the same time offer information or actually be genuinely curious about what you're asking about. You're trying to size people up through conversation, or these people that come around you trying to size you up for information, seeing what you know, trying to take your information, don't got nothing to offer you, and at this time be jealous of what you know. So every time you say something, they'll be like, oh, no, that's wrong. But then they really just collecting information for their own selfish gain, and you'll start to feel that weird energy of keep talking about certain things. Why this person seem like they got some kind of intention behind what he's saying? Why they always trying to start an argument and throw me off my vibe? See, the thing about Mars and Gemini, that's going to be squaring Saturn and Pisces. So even with visualize, right, we got to learn how to make sense out of what we're passionate about, right? To learn the right information about the dream that we're trying to develop. Like, we're trying to take this, because even Saturn being in retrograde, the concept of that theme of that energy of this transit is, how do I start to, you know, how, in order to stop myself from always wanting to escape, how can I start to bring that dream reality down so that that could be my actual reality and I won't feel like I need to keep escaping? The questions that you'll ask, or that come from that, you should be using Mars and Gemini, that frustration, to ask those questions, that frustration to start to become curious on how can I start myself more with this dream and imagination I'm trying to bring. Who do I need to talk to? You know what I'm saying? And how, you know, what do I need to know? How do I need to expand myself in order to develop the wisdom to handle myself in these situations? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to UA Sensei. He said, damn, infinite thanks. You helped me wrap my head around 6th house experiences. Real shit. Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of consistency. And it's about putting this shit into practice and routine. Now, when we talk about, so that's the connection. Like when we got Jupiter and Mars in Gemini squaring that Saturn and Pisces, we're learning the ins and outs of this new reality that we're trying down. We got this imagination and this goal, but we're trying to sort out how we can start to bring it into fruition. We're trying to figure out how we can use the lines and what does it need to be able to be real. And we need to have a lot of communication with that. We need to be talking to people. We need to be expanding our minds. And that's another aspect of Jupiter conjunct Mars, expanding what we know about our passion, jumping in and experiencing them, you know, and again, having those conversations, being willing, wrong, not being hard-headed. Remember, we got to remember, this is mutable air. So we can't be hard-headed about what we're talking about and debating about. We have to be open and curious. And with that curiosity, we can't put too much pressure on us to try to be wrong. You have to be willing to be wrong. And along with that too, it's about being a listener and not just always, you know what I'm saying, just always you tripping. That's a bullet with obsidian. You know what I'm saying? That's funny though. It's funny as hell. But for the most part, when it comes to you know, this energy, it's about expanding on it. So, you know, and to learn more about it, like I said, curiosity, being willing to communicate about it, and on the same tip, you know, that's going to help you expand with whatever it is that you're passionate about. And that expansion and what you learn from that with your passion, that'll develop as more material you can use to help you construct the reality that you're trying to build for yourself as far as a dream and imagination. Now, this Pisces energy during this whole season is going to be it's going to be an injunction with Leo. It's going to be in conjunction with this. So there's a misunderstanding between what we're expressing and what we see and what we're actually trying to bring down in reality. And kind of keep in mind, this is leading up to an opposite. So the analogy I gave for in conjunction is you on a road, right? If you pay attention to the road, you can adjust yourself to prevent a head-on collision. But if you don't pay attention, boom. So think about it like that. If we don't use energy in Leo properly, right, to navigate this misunderstanding between reality that we're to build for ourselves, we're going to crash when Virgo season comes around. when it comes to reality, because there's going to be certain things we didn't set in stone, certain things we didn't, and get to the point where we can, you know what I'm saying, make sense of what's going on. He said, I'm a Taurus, which makes sense because I'm always attracted to bitches with red flags. You need some help. He said, Joel said, having with Bailey cigarettes on the patio outside right now. Okay, I see you vibing. You know what I'm saying? So, even though I'm just, yeah, anyway. So, you know, when we talk about this energy right now, this is all things that we can do to adjust in order to properly handle the opposition in a healthy way and not get swept up by it. You know what I'm saying? So that opposition is like that Virgo energy of needing to know the details and having to work and be mutable with processes of our life. What we're doing right here in Leo is important. You know what I'm saying? What we're doing in Leo is expressing that character, right? But again, along with that expression of character, we're being seen by other people and have the potential, their interest to be involved in what we got going on. So that's part of it too. And be shown throughout the development of this energy, how we see it kind of transpire. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, right? Now we're in the first degree of Leo. So we're still dealing with cuspy coming off of the Cancer energy, right? But the whole idea of this first part of Leo is there's an opposite. So the reason why all of us feel a lot of pressure right now, right, is because we're facing this, we're on the other side of this Pluto opposition, because Pluto is 1 degree Aquarius. So I like how you said that, Joel, break your habits. So right now there's a lot of challenging things that we have to kind of come to grips with in order to get to that other side of what we've been trying to transform. That Pluto energy, again, taking power and control over the things that's been controlling us. So whether that's like a habit to you or a way of thinking for you or a way of feeling, we're adjusting ourselves in a way to actually commit to that transformation. And that's going to determine how good our performance is, energetically speaking, during season. So what I mean by that is, like, right now, leading up to this point, again, we've been faced with those changes, needing to transform certain things. How do we take power of our current circumstance, right? Oh, he said, okay, I see what's going on. Right. Okay. I see. So for the most part, shout out to Jackie. For the most part, when we see this going on, he said, when we see what's going on at the moment, right? We have to decide for ourselves. Like I said before, it's all about that decision. It's all about making those smart plays for the brand, because kind of think of Leo season as like the brand. And so now you have to solidify the brand. All Cancer season, you was kind of doing the inner workings to set the tone for it, right? And developing the inner emotion, the right support for what we want to see happen. Also developing a certain sense of motivation, because that's all that Cancer energy, that moon-like energy, you know, that moon energy giving you the sensitivity, understanding what you want to be comfortable, right? What you need for comfort. So all of that energy is now transferred into Leo. Now it's time to go get it. And going it means, yeah, forms of standing on business, but forms of also being willing to deal with some of the flack that comes from being on stage. Again, you stand up on stage, not everybody gonna like your performance, right? So just like in life, not everybody gonna understand your path, everybody gonna resonate with your messages, but that's not the point. You know, the point is, are you being authentic to you? And as you're gonna stand into that light and do it regardless. And that's a testament for right now. So as we face this opposition with Pluto, that is the opposite. We feel like we feel the pressure of change. We feel the pressure of transformation. We don't really know if that's what, you know, and the whole thing about it, you have to have a certain level of faith. And that's kind of what the sun in conjunct Neptune and Saturn in Pisces is kind of representing. It's like misunderstanding faith in general. You know, in order to stand on that stage, and I bring up Neptune specifically, and I'm kind of honing in on this Pisces energy, is because Neptune is exalted in Leo. So there's a relationship going on between those energies, in which we have to understand that in order for us to actually have a good performance, we have to commit to the character. And that might look like an illusion, but again, if you've been doing the right work internally, and you've been paying attention to the pacing and what you've been dealing with, the messages should be clear now as to, okay, no, even though this might still be an illusion, but it's a good illusion because this is representing an actual dream and imagination. So if this is a character that's true to me, I don't really got to worry about things going negatively. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to worry about taking me off course. I know that, hey, I got faith in this and I can see it through. And see, a lot of energy, the sun is trining Chiron and trining the North Node. So with the sun trying the North Node and Chiron, be aware of mistakes right now. We have the gift of being very aware of mistakes. And we have to not to let those things hinder our performance, aka don't let these become things that block us from going out and expressing ourselves. But if we give the proper attention, right, the mistakes, we can avoid them ahead of time. And not only that, if we keep our eye on the prize, then boom, that North Node can be satisfied, where we can step into this very uncomfortable time, right? Because that's what also the sun opposition with Pluto creates, a very uncomfortable time, because you know death is around the corner. And that death is really just a transition to everything that you know in your heart you can't bring with you into that next phase of life. So that willingness to break that cycle is really what's necessary right now. We have to step into that and not take that too close to heart. You know what I'm saying? Not take that negative energy. Step into that with pride and be proud of that shit. We gotta know what we gotta trust that we know what we're doing at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to me. So with trusting that we know what we're doing at the moment, that's gonna be that magic path. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be start to feel along with all this pressure, right? Because that's the thing. When we feel a lot of pressure in our lives, a lot of times that's just a signal for us to get up and do something. All that anxiety that you start to develop, it comes from stagnant energy. Remember, it's all about the flow. And when we talk about the flow, it's like, or the current, right? With the current, the way you got to use the current, aka a decision to go along with it, so that you don't try to create resistance. And resistance is like, again, you know there's something you got to do, but you choose to not do it. You procrastinate, but you wonder why you drowning. Basically, it feels like you drown the responsibilities you got and shit like that. And all of that is coming from all of that drowning energy is just coming from you resisting what you're being signaled to pay attention to and address at the moment. So keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Like when you feel that resistance energy or an immense anxiety towards something, 9 times out of 10 is because, no, I need to lean into that and I need to address it. I need to take care of what's causing that signal to go off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see something. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see something. Hold on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No, you good, Jackie. You know what I'm saying? You good, Jackie. It's not you. You straight. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my God. Yeah. Hold on. That. Okay. Cool. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Too much. So for the most part, said football. Oh no, it's bot nation. It's bot nation, y'all. It's bot nation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bot nation. It's about that time, you know, and that, I think that's also a signal for this opposition with Pluto. I think there's some things we just cannot, some things we got to be aware of, because I think I'm gonna have to go live again to go deep into kind of what I'm thinking about, because I'm gonna say though, it's just it's time to be careful, you know, man. Hello, I'll go back and listen to the beginning after this ends. Shout out to Pamela. You got to be very aware, because the thing about Leo too, Leo is tricky. It's a tricky energy, because, you know, somebody come around and express themselves in a certain way, and you gotta kind of pay attention. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay attention deeper than just what's being put on the surface. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay attention beyond what you see in the surface, because it's going to be a lot of lights right now. And then there's going to be certain sextiles, you know, with these air energies like Gemini, that's creating opportunities for things to slip in the cracks. Everybody's distracted right now. There's a high distraction time. That's the thing about Leo. And I think there's something, you know, how wherever the sun is at on Earth, we're opposite to that. I don't know. I got to look into what constellation exactly behind this energy. But I feel like it's a lot of, this is one of those times where And shout out to solar systems, because I think he was talking about Hades. That was a couple transits ago, but it's something about this time period that plays out energy like that, where it's a lot of dark siders. You know what I'm saying? It's like dark side energy, where people coming out shadows and they're expressing themselves in a certain light, and you're not quite sure, but it's just something about it that's not quite feeling genuine. It's all of those kind of, I'm not pointing no fingers, but what I will say is just be very aware of who's around you at the moment, who's speaking to you. Again, a lot of what we develop leading up to this energy, you know what I'm saying? A lot of energy, he said, a lot of this energy. And see, that's the thing too, troll energy, you just know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Equilibrium. You said, so grateful for this astrological weather channel. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You said, what's the application to get paid to troll? Like people doing this shit for free. Right, exactly. Right. I need some money. They say some money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, and that's the whole thing too. Like troll, you gotta think about it. If you was to be on stage, right, when you see Foreman and you see somebody crawling up on stage on the side, you gotta have security on that. You know, so your security system gotta be strong. Hey, somebody get them off stage, yo. I don't believe you. You know, he said no bullshit. I got a Leo stallion, right? You know more than anybody that like always trying to be around you for the light. So it's kind of like that with us right now, and especially if you've been online and you know what I'm saying, you just never know. But that's why, again, I can't keep reiterating how important shit like the conference and stuff is, because it's like, man, I see you in person. It's getting to the point like that where if I see you in person and stuff, there's a lot more energy that we can relate on. There's a lot more realistic things we can build on, because again, I might know and I might not know all of you, but it's the same thing like high school. There's a lot of people you was friends with and we make the joke like, oh, I was just friends with you because I seen you every day. But think about how that energy worked though. I seen you every day. If I seen you in the flesh, I know you real. There's certain characteristics I can pinpoint to kind of get a gauge or better than people I ain't never seen before. I don't know what you do in your own time. And a lot of dark energy, like, and when I say dark energy, I'm not trying to talk like how cookie cutter astrology be talking about it. And dark, y'all already know, that don't even mean nothing negative. That just means there's something beneath the surface that's not quite in alignment with what's being shown. And that's really what it is. You got to think light cast shadows. So Leo season bring out shadow walkers. You know what I'm saying? People who trying to, like, you know, just never know. You just never know. You just got to be aware. And oh yeah, oh man. But I gotta head to work soon, so let's get back on track and shit. So for the most part, you know, as we're continuing to go about our day and doing what we're doing, one of the biggest things we have to keep in mind, right, is and that kind of brings another thought to me. You know what I'm saying? He said people be on medication, right? Exactly. Right. You don't be know what's going on to the personal life. But I was gonna say, right now you got to be aware that, like, protect your brand. At this point, that, like I said, face card, and part of a face is the people you surround yourself with. Leo sextile Libra, you know what I'm saying? But opposite, Aquarius. Aquarius is like crowds and fan bases and shit like that, right? And when you think of network, so you know how they say birds of a feather flock together. You got to keep that in mind too. So people around you that around you no more, hey, it's time to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And you got to kind of be intentional with everything it is that you're trying to put on the surface at the moment, because it's all going to track. It's all going to track as receipts and stuff like that, and we can trails. These trails lead to other conclusions and stuff like that. So you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of, hey, you know, it's kind of like time to clean things up as far as how you even interacting, maybe even online or with anybody now. You know, we gotta go live separately to go in about politics and what's going on there. But you know, right now, for your own personal development and protection and safety and shit, like just being aware of wait, hold on, you know, what's going on around me, and you know, who are these people that's trying to get on stage with me, and who these people I'm networking with. But again, all those questions should have been answered in the season to a degree. I mean, you always gonna have new experiences, but the thing about it is, with the people that you have been growing with. These are, you know, should have some people around you that you can at least say on some level you trust. And that's going to be who you need to confide in and who you need to be working with along with this energy. So you're not just on stage by yourself, but you got trusted individuals who can play different roles. And when it's time for them to be on stage, again, you play the proper supporting role by hyping them up. You they hype man, you they security and things like that. And that's how we kind of further develop trust in that type of way. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of what's needed, because that's the world is going to have to, the world, especially what they're doing online and politics, they're trying to get everybody in a mode where the anxiety energy is so high that it don't make sense to trust no, even if we are next to each other at a rally or whatever it is. They try to increase that desire to be in your secluded space. And again, resurgence of things and topics like the COVID stuff, trying to reintroduce concepts of social distancing, but doing it because remember, social distancing came from trying to come up with a new way of doing Aquarius energy in the new age, you know what I'm saying, trying to do that age of Aquarius energy, but trying to introduce it that was already going down a certain way. So they did that to kind of change courses, and then from that reaction they couldn't keep going that way, but now they're using political differences to separate the country and shit like that. And now we have Biden step, you know what I'm saying, what's the name, coming into place, and already off the bat you can see what's starting to spark off of that. You're gonna have a lot of gender wars, gender differences, right, which is kind of like the first detrimental energy starts to affect the people and stuff like that, when not even men and women can come together, because that's the whole basis of life. Masculine and feminine energy working together for the healthier masculine energy and feminine energy can come together, the health next generations come. But it reverberates in all forms and things. If you ain't got proper healthy friction between those two energies, you create a lot of weird offspring energy, you know what I'm saying? So he said it's like a 2020 again. Yeah, in a lot of ways they're trying to revive all those concepts so that they can continue to, again, they trying to get everybody just involved. And really it is, that's all it is, really. They just trying to create a good story for everybody to be involved. Once they got everybody involved and voting and stuff like that, then it's like, okay, cool, we still got the right to continue doing things in this kind of way, and then we can put this kind of project in, and we could do this and we could do that, you know, because we got the minds of the people split. That's all they be trying. And trolls, you got to understand, in the internet, trolls is an industry. You know, we was making a joke about signing up to be a troll, but trolling is actually an industry. There's people in China that, you know, again, they getting you know, 50 cents out by an hour just to, or 50 cents a minute just to be in a big old sweatshop or whatever, typing away at whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's tough, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. And then we should already know, you know, because online you got to think, like I just said about the voice of the people is so important. You know what I'm saying? If you see, like, for instance, on these channels, you know what I'm saying, you got a bunch of your comments, or you got a bunch of bots in your, if they all spitting the same thing, when you get newcomers, because see, think about it like this, right? I'm going live, right? And there's been times where I go live, and the very first thing, when I first jump on live, it'd be a million trolls. If I was a new, say a new came across my channel, right, and I'm saying whatever I'm saying, the whole idea of the troll, right, and when you spamming trolls like that, you start to get to a point, if I'm a newcomer and let's say I don't got time to really get into the message, I just look comments, because that's what everybody naturally do. If I see the same kind of thing and it's like kind of confusing in the comments, I'm not going to trust whoever's speaking behind the thing. See, that's what they want. And a lot of small creators and stuff like that get discouraged very early level, because they don't understand that concept that the troll itself is not something to pay attention to or give too much energy to. It's something to keep the going. You know what I'm saying? And even right now, I'm speaking of it, trying to teach, just so y'all all understand what's actually going on and what they're using in the new age to become the new kind of the new distraction system and stuff like that. And then trolls, see, it's going to start to get to a point where they got trolls who's running whole channels. The trolls are actually going to start to become ones who are putting out videos and becoming content creators, because they turning that into some AI shit. You know what I'm saying? So He said, look at trolls like animals in a zoo for real. Exactly. And it's like they not real. They, you know what I'm saying, for real robots, you know, set up and designed to be programmed to do a certain thing. Right. Observe and move along. Exactly. And so, you know, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy what they're trying to do now, because it's really like foot soldiers. And all they be trying to do is get into your mind and slow you up in certain areas. And like I said, that's why physical events and things like that is so important for developing real network and shit like that. Because without actually doing that, you know, again, certain trusts can't be developed. You know, certain points in the, he said the zoo was always the zodiac sign. Right. He said, I like to play with those too much. He said, I'm a cool out. Yeah. He said, or chill. He said, shout out to y'all in the chat. For real. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He said the zoo was always zodiac signs. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's why, that's how you know. See, even when it comes to astrology and shit like that, astrology is one of the biggest, again, lanes we see all the time. Spiritual practitioners and astrologists, or astrologers who just trying to do it for the money. So what they already know they got a market, and what they do is they even jump in and spread more misinformation to get people in religious mind frames looking at astrology, not using it for what it really is for. Because astrology, you can actually see what's going on with these different changes in society and these different changes when it comes to the day-to-day in and out in your personal life as you trying to develop what you're doing and actually go forward with it. You know, even trolls starting to be, you know, because the whole idea is, think about it, little kids online who see trolls and stuff like that, and they don't concept to understand what a troll is from a proper perspective, so they start to think that's the way they socialize. And so you get a whole generation of people who socialize in a very specific way based upon troll culture and what they seen from just, again, and not understanding what it is that they even watching and stuff like that. Because you know, kids is just watching whatever now. I'm saying, kids being able to get on YouTube, kids watching whatever now. YouTube compromised to the point where it's not about what it once was about. There was different regulations. Now it's got big money behind it. There's motives, there's narratives, there's people on the other end trying to make recuperate, you know, trying to recoup investment and trying to get your attention. That's the advertisement. It's like, you got to think of investment as two things: people's minds and people's pockets. You know what I'm saying? Pockets is the lower level, but it's really about the mind. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. Think about all the people who struggle to pay a certain subscription for Netflix, right? They'll take food out their kids' mouth, just Netflix paid for it, so they can have a little entertainment. That's a form of having your mind. It's deeper than pockets. It's deeper than just money and being greedy. You know what I'm saying? He said it started with AOL. I used to troll in the 90s to pretend. Or he said, I'll be honest. All right. But again, you grew out of that, you know, and again, like, hey, do your thing. Like, it's a difference, because like even a person earlier, and I'm not saying he a troll, right? But he made a joke that was in a trolling, but it's different than bot trolling. There's trolling that come from you just being the type of person that like mischief and you just like to express yourself in a certain way, versus somebody whose intention is literally like troll or to disrupt conversation and create distance. Like, there's trolls with an agenda, and then there's trolls because that's your personality and shit like that, or you just like to fuck around. That's genuine, you know what I'm saying? And even that could be or corrected in a certain way. Like the dude that was making a joke, like, that was funny, and I could tell he might, again, I don't know, but he might not be coming from a completely negative place. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just made a joke. All right, cool. Versus something that look a little suspicious, and it's looking like disruption. It's looking like, you know, and again, even in that, it might just need to be a one-on-one conversation for clarity. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm not throwing that name on anybody. I'm just saying that we in a time right now, we just got to address things, and we have to have conversations about certain on a straight up level. So moving forward though, with the energy. So I was kind of talking a lot. So the moon is shifting into Pisces right now, right? So again, emotional misunderstandings as far as how people are expressing themselves. You know, some people might be expressing themselves in some kind of fairyland, maybe too much imagination, maybe too much awareness subconsciously of what they think people might be feeling. So what they express isn't really anything rooted in reality. You know, see, that's kind of how that Pisces energy ends up playing out in a toxic way. It's like, all that emotion, it's like emotionally going to be thinking we can feel what other people might be feeling or thinking, right? Which is not true. We just developing our own perspective or what we think other people are feeling. That's not really what they're feeling. So try to get clarity before you just express yourself, understanding before you just go off and spit that fire out. You know what I'm saying? Because what you express might be developed in a way that you didn't quite have all the right pieces together first. You know what I'm saying? You didn't quite get the truth about what they really feel. That's them. You never communicated. You never got clarity on it. You just expressed yourself, and then boom, it leads to a burning bridge or some kind of dramatic event. And that's what Leo season is all about, the drama. You know what I'm saying? Things being dramatic, drawn out for no reason, exaggerated, extra. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very aware, especially right now. And it's early though, so you know, with early energies, it's very clumsy. And so we're just now getting confident and comfortable expressing ourselves. So try not to, you know, feel yourself too much to the point where you go off of the first suspicion of what you think somebody else feel, and then all of a sudden that become the thing off the top of your, you know what I'm saying, the thing off the top of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? This. It's like you might have too early. You might have needed more information so that now you got understanding and you're expressing yourself with a lot more clarity, or what you're expressing is more valid, more I don't want to say it's valid, but it has a better face card to it. It's got a look to it. It was something that kept your brand in place, because that's the thing with the moon going into Pisces. Based upon how we feel, we might express ourselves in ways completely against the brand, completely against who we really are. And you're gonna go too far, you know, because you're gonna create a lot of friction in a way based upon not being not making sense. And then that could turn into an opportunity for when the moon slides into Aries, because then it's like, okay, well now, you know, again, you either gonna be prepared for war or you not. You know, that's a different conversation for that energy. But you want to make sure you're on the right side of the war, so that when you go to war, what you're fighting for, you know what you're fighting with. See, people lose wars because they don't know what they're fighting for. You know, when you out there just swinging and you ain't really got nothing to fight for, you're still confused on it, you don't even know what the problem is, chances are you're going to lose that fight. When you got something in your mind, this is why this person need their ass whooped, this is why this needs to be, and this is why I got to do this. That's a different tone. You going into the fight with different, you know, a different level of focus. You know what I'm saying? How they say, even with boxing, MMA, it's all mental first. And if you ain't got the right things on your mind, a certain ability to clear that shit. Because see, when you got the right things on your mind, there's no question. So you can get to clarity. You can be focused or jump into a flow or meditation state. When you still confused about, you know, what you're fighting for, when you still got question marks in your head, it's hard to clear your mind, because everything you're like, well, I don't know if I should do this, because I don't know if I should do this. Your focus shattered. Your focus is too all over the place. You know, if you lack focus, you're not gonna land hits. You're not gonna be aware of what's coming at you. You're not gonna be in the present. You know what I'm saying? That literally takes the present, and it puts a lot of other things on your mind, whether it be the past or trying to predict future, because you're unsure. When we're unsure of the present, we get lost in the past and in the future by trying to either predict what's going to happen or trying to judge and calculate what already happened, so that we can maybe make sense to prevent something in the future and shit like that. So it takes us out of the present. You know, that's why overthinking and stuff like that keeps you stagnant, because you're not making progress in the present. To make progress, you got to be present minded. You know what I'm saying? When you make a decision, that's why making a decision is so important. When you make a decision, you have now entered reality. That's the whole idea. Like, I made the decision making series with Saturn, and I'll probably add this as a part 3. But that's the whole gist. It's like, if you can settle that discussion and make that decision, boom, you right there. You in the present. But think about all the times you was not present and not making no progress. It's because you was overthinking, and then took you to the past and in the future. Looking at the past, trying to predict the future, about the future or what you didn't do based upon the past and what was, you know what I'm saying, all that shit throw you off. And then that makes you slow, stagnant, and you miss opportunities because you're not present. Shout out to Mystical Maestro. Real talk. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. So, sun, let me see, the moon in Pisces. Where's Mercury? Mercury in Leo, about to go retrograde. So that's another thing too, misunderstanding how to think about reality. Mercury in conjunct Saturn. misunderstand. And again, Mercury's finna go retrograde. We're right now, so y'all know shadow Mercury retrograde periods get all responsibilities in order. So we have to be very, very aware of all the moving pieces at the moment, which can make it very pressure, you know, high, like again, heightened pressure. But then Gemini is literally giving you the motivation to do it. So try to respond with that, you know, and that's a sextile between Mercury. So Mercury has the opportunity to help you sort out everything you're passionate about and direct that passion into something that makes logical sense. Keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Use that combination to keep Mars in check. Because see, Mars is in a place where now it was slowed down, but now it can speed up. So you could use Mars to your benefit. Actually, sextiles Aries. You know what I'm saying? So you want to use Mars to your benefit. No, Mars naturally sextiles Gemini, or Aries naturally sextiles Gemini. So how them two work together is Gemini got the ideas and Aries got the energy to go there. We're talking about Mars, so you think of Mars as that powerhouse. It's like you got that powerhouse in a space where it can take orders, and if you aiming it at the right place, boom, you know what I'm saying, that's straight boom. And that's going to help with more of that transformation needed to take place. We remember we still got Pluto in Aquarius. It's retrograde going into Capricorn, but at the moment it's trining Mars, so trining Jupiter. So again, like I was even saying before, a lot to learn and develop and expand in when it comes to our passions, so that we can direct our motivation and inspiration in the right direction, and so it don't have to be and negative energy, frustration that creates, you know, crumbling of things. It could actually be used to bulldoze. So dig a hole, you know, dig yourself a certain platform or get you to a certain space, you know what I'm saying, get into a conclusion. Travel with certain things and cut through a bunch of bullshit rather than being lost in the bullshit. You know, Mars and Gemini in a negative way is just you're going to be scattered. So many passions, and you don't got the discipline to start to put them in order. You don't got the discipline to make them real, aka going through the frustration to get through the illusion and say, I need to situate this. The illusion and shit like that is what's keeping you from, and again, all that illusion is coming from you just wanting to, based upon the pressure, based upon insecurities, based upon you not being sure of yourself and not having faith. We have to have faith in that though. Right now, it's highly important. And again, you're going to get people around you, first thing out their mouth can start to sound like a distraction, trying to get you to pay attention to that. Hey, look at me energy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people go through that issue where there's people around them who's like, look at me, knowing they ain't got nothing going around. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers ain't got nothing going on, but need you to look at them. Like, what? And then when look, they be like, oh, I forgot. You know what I'm saying? And troll energy. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. Oh, I forgot. Now you wasted time. Then you got the opportunity to be frustrated, and that'll take you even further away from your goal, because that's not what we're supposed to be using our expression for. We're supposed to be using our expression for creativity. Shout out to McCoby. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be using our expression and how we see creativity for establishing our character, so that our face card, again, you building credit behind your face card. So again, when you show up, we're like, oh yeah, you a trustworthy face, you a familiar face. I could trust what you say. I see you do what you do. Hey, you know what? I can invest in you, time, attention, etc. You know what I'm saying? Before we even get to physical things like money, I can invest attention into you because I know your face card. And some of us, again, some people might be at a state where they got to build up their face card back. You may have made some mistakes in Cancer season, so now it's time to rebuild your face card. So, you know, again, deal with that shit. And as you get up, and again, that full moon should have been kind of the answer to that question on whether or not your face card is valid enough to take you through to the next new moon, or I need to build myself up. Do I need to get in more chat rooms? Do I need to kind of talk and associate myself better, right? And express my true self so that I can catch up and get a valid enough face card so I can be able to get access to those rooms with the network that I belong in. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. All that Pluto energy, you're going to find yourself being alone in a time where community and being supported is what's so important at the moment. If you really got dreams, or you really want to do stuff and that don't have nothing to do with being regulated and controlled by government shit, you know what I'm saying? AKA, you know what I'm saying? He said, not wasting no time while the moon conjuncted Saturn. Right. No time. He said, if he said that, who are you, energy? Exactly. Who are you? Whose man's is like, hey, nah, you're not good over here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, whose man's is this? Like, I don't remember you at the pop-up. I don't remember conference. I don't remember you in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? It's type shit. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. You want to make sure that, hey, even if you do got to catch up, it's never too late. And that's what the energies are here for, so you to understand. So again, that's going to be difficult because it's going to require you to put aside your pride. You might see yourself a certain way and be like, well, everyone should see me like this. But you got to understand, it don't matter who you are. Any space you walk into, you gotta present yourself to gain that. Like, respect is built. You know what I'm saying? It's given. Like, and that's one of those things. Like, when it comes to respect, I know for me personally, I give respect first because I present myself respectful. So I know, oh, I'm giving respect, so I give with a grace of respect first until I'm disrespected. Then or you showing disrespectful energy. Then it's like, okay, now we gotta have a conversation. You know, again, if you walking around right now, it's Leo season. You start to, and I guarantee it, this is the reason why you walking around with so much pride, because you're insecure. You don't want to be vulnerable. So that's the whole deal. We've been talking about vulnerability. So you got to address yourself first and come correct. So if there is something you want to be a part of, a little bit of that vulnerability might not be a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of that, you know, and again, it's not like you crying on somebody's doorstep or begging to be a part. It's simply you just being honest and true to you. If you want to be a part of something, pop up over there. Insert yourself. Communicate with the people in there. Be seen. You know what I'm saying? Express yourself. And that's really the thing. It's like people make it complicated than it really is. Be seen. Say, hey, what's up? And then actually have the energy behind what you're saying. Not just, oh, I'm only talking to these people to get something out of it. I just want attention. I just want this. You know, and that's a whole different conversation, kind of go deeper. But that's really the basis of it. It's like, that's how we approach things. It's like, if you find yourself on the outside of a lot of networking that you want to be a part of, then you got to ask yourself, well, what am I putting out that's a resistance to that? And what's going on in my mind that's creating that resistance to just be myself and speak up and then be a part of something? You said fighting inner lions could be a scary thing, right? Don't tussle with lions, right? Real shit. Not everybody Daniel in the lion's den, you know? He said Leos don't deal with outsiders very well. They say they can smell your intentions. Right. That's the thing. But you got to understand too, if you outside and let's say you've been planting bad seeds and you trying to clean your face card, essentially that is what the process is going to have to look like. You putting your pride aside and saying, okay, hey y'all, I know I'm an outsider, but this is what I do. And again, you got to have self-respect too. So when you present yourself and you say, this is who I am, this is what I do. If it's true and genuine and you're still rejected, hey, that's your protection. Take your gifts elsewhere. You don't, that's not where you belong. But if that's where you really supposed to be around, you'll be surprised who opens the door and accepts you. Because again, it's all about, that's the whole thing about this shit. You know, if you true to self and you present yourself where you're celebrated, go where you belong. You know, people try to fit in places where they're obviously not being welcomed and being rejected. And it's like, love yourself enough to say, this must not be my people. Even if you gotta say, okay, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just be myself in this one spot to it. And that's really what you're supposed to do. Attract the right people. Being that one self, you're gonna attract people regardless. That's what light does. It attracts. Trust that. You know what I'm saying? When you give yourself, hey, I'm trying to be a part of that, you feel yourself getting rejected and shit like that. Again, you don't gotta always take it so personal. Understand that, okay, I might be chasing something, or there might be something on me that's not in alignment with this. You know, let me give to myself and create that energy for myself so that I can be around people who want to be around me too. And even that is somewhat of a deeper concept. Shout out to Blake Low up in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? He said getting the pose type shit, right? Getting the pose, rebelled against, you know what I'm saying? And again, like, you know, it is what it is too. Like, if that's not for you, then that's just not for you. But, you know,
He said, I've been in hermit mode trying to switch the energy up because I keep attracting haters. Yeah, yeah. That's hard to do though, like in hermit mode to attract haters. But again, like make sure that you don't think they haters or assume it. But you know, I know how it be. He said, got to be confident in the way you shine regardless. Right, right. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You in hermit mode, you attracting yourself because you keep attracting that. That is, if that's what you're saying, then I feel you too. You know what I'm saying? Because that makes sense. And even in that, you know, aspect too, with Leo, you know, aware of expression and shit, and just being like, you know, again, like, yeah, you know, because that's the whole thing. Like, people who get around you and just want to stir up problems and want to, you know, hey, like, these be people who don't want to see you shine. You gotta be aware of that and be willing to say, oh, I gotta separate from y'all entirely. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all not feeding my shine. You know, a lot of people, shit, there's a lot of people who I know grew up in households that did that to their own kids. You know, that to kids where they didn't want to see their kid become better than them. So they did certain things, spoke certain negative energies. Yeah, same thing with friends and people around you, people in your area, people you grew up with. You never know. That's why I was saying earlier, like, it's like energy. That's the whole Neptune exalted. Those Leo Pisces be the two energies that create hidden enemies. People that be in your face every day and smiling, but Lord knows when they go in their room and fucking hating on you. They be in their shit turning in their grave, hoping you just blow up and shit like that. Yeah, exactly. Ego is controlling them. Shout out to Stephanie. Exactly, ego controlling them and shit. And that's the thing with the 12th house energies and Leo energies. It's like you can't help it but to attract just, you know, again, see energies that you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? People come around you, they just got a certain aura and shit like that. But sometimes they be slick with it. You know what I'm saying? They do everything in their power to convince you the energy you feel, you know. But it's tough right now. So we just got our esoteric flashlights on and just make sure we looking at the shadows, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, it's shadow walkers. It's like shadow side energy. So be aware of your shadows and be able, and again, you have a decision. You have to choose to, or I don't want to say a decision so much, but it's, you have to acknowledge that that's what's going to happen. When you shine your light, you going to cast shadows. So address it, you know what I'm saying? That's even a signal internally for you to address your own shadows and get those things in order, you know, and then that will give you a lot more clarity on when you see shadows in other people, how to treat and deal with that shit. Because not all of it is about, you know, going away. Some of it is about having a little bit of grace at times, but again, not being taken advantage of just because you want to be liked. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different, you know, that's the same thing. That's the same thing on a different spectrum. Just accepting things because you want to be liked. It's a form of, you know, ego and being high off that shit. You know what I'm saying? That people are confused and don't know what the real enemy is. Yeah. Yeah, I like your work. Appreciate you. Yeah, that I like to, because that's really what it is. When people don't know themselves, they willing to fight any and everything, because that's the whole idea of projection and shit like that. You trigger somebody insecurity, they trying to go off with your neck. That's what I said in that one song, "Soul to Keep," on the second half of that. The whole second half of that song that I made, "Soul to Keep," on Equinox 3. That's that whole ideology. That's that energy personified into a character. Like, people, you know what I'm saying, it's like based upon their own shortcomings and insecurity becomes their vendetta against you, because they see you transcending it in a way that they didn't think of first. And because they too much in their ego, it becomes they plan an action. I gotta destroy you. And again, these be the destroy kingdoms, dynasties, nations, and shit like that. Legacy. These be the things that destroy that shit. And so right now we have to protect the brand at all costs. He said, when I started validating myself, my relationships got better. Libra shit. Right. Exactly. Equilibrium. That shit's so hard. It's a hard name. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Because when people are thirsty for validation, you got to think that gives the spirit power to do whatever they want with you. Make you carry it on a stick energy. I can make you go anywhere. If I know you need my validation to go forward with something, you won't even make a move in your own life until I say it's good, until I got, you know, too many people be using that shit. And again, that's a subconscious thing, a spirit to do, not even knowing that's what they doing. So you can't even really always blame them. That's one of them situations where what you allowed was the real issue. Not so much what someone did with what you allowed them to do with it, or not what someone did to you, but what you allowed them to do to you, based upon you being thirsty for this, you being, you know, you feeling a need for that or a lack of that. You know what I'm saying? All that shit plays a part. But yeah, I don't even think I hit all the planets and stuff. I'm gonna go back live again probably tomorrow midday, or if not tomorrow, then I'm gonna make some time Thursday. But you know, it's real shit right now. Just be careful, you know what I'm saying? Be aware of what's going on. Like, you know, don't you know, walk without fear, you know what I'm saying? And the best way to without fear is just about being true to you. If you true to you, whatever falls, hey, that's what you meant to deal with at the moment. And you know, it's not always going to be pretty, it's not going to be easy, but it's what to deal with at the moment. So step up to it. And remember, if you address shit and take accountability, step forward, God always going to support you in that way, where God to give you the right idea to get up out of that. God to give you the right idea to handle that shit. And again, it's not a reliance on what God say. You got to move like you. Now, I'm not going to say move like you, God, but you got to move as God moved, because you're supposed to be a reflection of God. God's supposed to work through you. So you have to understand certain things on a higher level to say, hey, if I'm addressing shit, I can't let this become me. Always understand you stronger than what I'm facing. This shit is just something you created. So if you can't handle what you created, that's a different question. That's something deeper that you got to deal with, right? That just might be your karma. That's what it is. But it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? That just might be your cross to bear because of what you were unaware of at a certain point. But again, remember, as you live and you grow, you develop, there will be grace given. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things as you grow, and that's what time offers. Time, the beauty of time, because over time, you know, you either get stronger or you have to succumb to the transformation. And as you succumb to transformation, that release in and of itself is freedom. You know what I'm saying? But both of them, it still leads you back to another challenge. So, you know what I'm saying? We gotta just keep on flowing with it. You know what I'm saying? But whatever you're doing, you know, I hope the best for what y'all building. Really dope stuff happening behind the scenes. I don't want to get too into it. We just get it done and present it to y'all. But I want to say I appreciate everybody for all the support, all the love, jumping in here, giving likes, got comments in the chat. I appreciate y'all for real. And that's what this whole point right now is all about, getting everything in order so that we can continue to give y'all some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the people I'm working with, people I'm associated with, everybody, you know, y'all beautiful work. That's what it's all about. We come together doing this shit, changing the world for real. Much love. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.